Right. Hope this works. Right, shalom, shalom. Can a brother on the comment board just let me know if the sound is coming through and the video is coming through clear. Baba Kashar. I don't normally use Hangouts. I just thought I'd go for the quick option today. Hopefully it's working. So I don't even know if the chat works. There's 5 watching. Wait. Oh, see me shine. But my sound's not working out. Is it working? All right, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing. All right, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, seems like it's working, so I'm gonna just start the lesson. So first I'd like to give all praise unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Double honors unto the apostles and elders at GreatMillStone, and honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to you brothers out there that's listening and learning and that are supporting the ministry, and the sisters that support the ministry as well. I just want to go into an article that I have here called Household, Family and Household in Ancient Israel, because the reason I'm going into this topic is that part of this truth is regaining knowledge of self. All right, regaining the knowledge and the understanding of how to be, a way that we once had. The scripture says, return what to the old paths. And growing up in this modern day world, in this Edomite society, we have kind of like, Salakia, give me a second, I got this. We have notions and ideas and ways which are really completely different to the way it was in the ancient world. So we gotta understand that. Okay, our whole concept of family, a whole concept of race, and all these different things, nationality, is warped and polluted by the ways of the so-called white man, the Edomite. All right, so I thought, when I had this article, I thought there's a lot of good information in there, so I want to share it with you. Okay, so let me share my screen. Zoom in on this. I want to share my screen and read this article. Let me see if I can post it in the chat. It might not let me. Okay. Yeah, what's up, Free? Okay. All right, what's up? All right, so let me share my screen here. All right, boom. That should have done the job. And let me get the chat up on my phone. That way I can keep an eye on any questions. Right. Okay, so I got an article here from the Cruise Chronicle, or whatever the case may be. And it's the article that's from June the 20th, 2007. So I'm going to read through the article, and then we're just going to, you know, pick out bits of information, go through a few scriptures, Lord will, okay? So household, family, and household in ancient Israel, okay? Says the idea family in ancient Israel was a more expansive concept than our modern idea. Family existed at 3 basic levels. All right, so they're going to go into these basic levels now. So the first, there was the bayit, or really bayath, or the household. This was similar to our nuclear family of parents with probably 2 to 4 children, as well as multiple generations, but it also might include debt servants, slaves, concubines, resident aliens, sojourners, day laborers, and orphans. Okay, so your basic household, at the heart of the household was the patriarchy, which consisted of the men, the grandfather, the father, the uncles. That was the house. All right, and obviously you would have the women, the wives, the daughters, okay, that were Israelites. But then as an extension of that, included in the basic household was the concubines, the slaves, the servants. All right, because they were also assets within the household, albeit they had different rights. They didn't have inherited rights. All right, because a slave ain't gonna have the same inherited rights as a son. Okay, which is basically what's happened is, that's why you jakes out there, you Israelites, you don't seem to understand that you're nothing more than a servant and a slave in the so-called white man's house. That's why he doesn't mind you calling yourself an American, or he doesn't mind you calling yourself British. But at the end of the day, what position do you hold within his house? You're a slave, you're a servant. And that's still the same to this very day. You don't really have no inherited rights with him. All right, so that's the first level. The second, there was the, as they say here in, you know, the mispakach, which loosely referred to a clan. The term used occasionally of large social units, even the entire nation of Israel. Most typically, it was used in reference to residential kinship groups consisting of several households. So the way we would have it in ancient Israel was you would have a household, which would consist of, like, you know, the grandfather, the uncles, you know, several nuclear families put together. But then you would have a group of those put together, which would form like a clan. And they were all really related at the end of the day. Okay, so the clan was like a larger structure of households put together. All right, and we would live in close proximity to each other. Right, Gad were made up of loads of different clans of Gadites. The tribe of Benjamin, loads of households and clans of Benjamites that would live in towns and cities. Okay, we lived in close relation to each other. All right, because that's how the inheritances were meted out. All right. The third, there was the Mata, or the tribe, which consisted of many clans. So many clans came together to make a tribe. And then obviously in Israel, then the 12 tribes, nation as a whole. Okay, so that's the basic structure in which we held ourselves, and everyone knew what their place was or understood these structures. If you were to go into ancient Israel and you ask someone, what's your family, they would declare the name of the house of their family. All right. If you were to ask them, well, what clan are you in? They would declare the name of their clan. Or what tribe? They would be able to declare the name of their tribe and so forth with the nation. So we had a structure that everyone understood. And that structure, of course, was built or predicated upon patriarchy, upon lineages of men. All right. So when we go back to, let me check the comment board real quick. We go into the book of Numbers. When we go into the book of Numbers and we read, which the book of Numbers was all about numbering, at that time, numbering the Israelites that came out of Egypt. Remember, Israel went into Egypt as what? Pretty much a household, or you might even say a small clan. I believe it was 72 souls. Don't quote me on that. I could be going off. In fact, let me get that before before somebody smashes me to pieces, breaks me down. Let me see if I can I believe Exodus records it, or maybe the last. See, now these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob. So pretty much the sons of Jacob formed their own household, man. So they were like a small clan at the time. All right, 70 souls. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls. For Joseph was in Egypt already. All right, so they went into Egypt, just a small group of people, but came out of Israel with whole tribes, man, whole clans upon top of clans. You know, we multiplied in Egypt. So that's why when we're being numbered now, we read down Numbers 1:1. It says, and the Lord, which, by the way, the Lord, when you see in the scriptures, in the English, the capital letters L-O-R-D, that means that in the Hebrew manuscript, the name there is Yahweh, okay? Let's not be ignorant. There's a reason why you're going to see it in all caps. If you see it in lowercase, it might be the Hebrew word Adawan, which is the word for Lord. All right? But when you see it in all caps like this, that's because the men that translated the King James Version were adverse towards transliterating or writing the name of the Lord. So instead, where they found the name of the Lord, which is Yahweh, in the manuscripts, they replaced it with Lord in all caps. So that's how you know, okay? In fact, if you go to the lexicon, as you see here, they in the Hebrew lexicon, you're going to see Yahweh. Okay? So, you know, in fact, yeah, there you go, Lord H3068. All right, just a little bit of information there. It's important to know that. And the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the tabernacle of the congregation on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they came out of the land of Egypt, saying, take ye the sum of all the congregation of the sons of Israel, because the word there for children is sons. So they really numbered the men. They didn't number the women. All right. After their families, right, by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their polls. From 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel, thou and Aaron shall number them by their armies, and with you there shall be a man of every tribe, every one of the house of his every one head of the house of his fathers, because we had a structure. We had a structure of patriarchy where you would have a head over a household. then you would have a head over a clan, then you would have a head over a tribe. Structure, okay, structure and order, which allows the entire nation to flow, okay, to flow beautifully. You need structure, you need order. If you don't have structure and order, what you end up having is chaos. All right, so let's read on. It says, third, there was the Matar, or the tribe, which consisted of many clans. There was polygamy among the wealthiest households. All right, obviously the more money and resources a man has, the more assets he can maintain. All right, and a wife is an asset. Okay, if you're a poor man, you're not going to be able to have 50 wives. That would be bad business. You got to look at getting another wife as the same way as a business expanding itself or expanding its premises. All right, that's basically what it is. So if you think that in ancient Israel you was a poor guy and you were running around grabbing up women every day, like what niggas do in this society, and have women pregnant scattered all over the globe, it wasn't like that. Okay. All right, your ass, you would be held accountable, man. You'd have to take care of these women. So if you was broke, you'd be in a world of pain. All right, you lived according to your means. That's just natural. All right, so polygamy existed, of course, because of polygamy is righteousness, and the wealthier you are, the more women you had. Like Solomon, he was hella wealthy. He had what was it, 700 wives, because he was filthy rich. He weren't nothing. Okay, he had the money for that. Now you got a guy that's poor, he ain't gonna have 700 wives. How the hell are you going? Where you gonna put them? Okay, so everything's gonna be appraised, man. All right, with wisdom. There was polygamy among the wealthiest households and in the royal households of latter eras, but it's not clear how extensive polygamy may have been practiced beyond these contexts. The household was the central place of nurture, education, and discipline. That said, it would be erroneous to read our modern notions of family into the household, because families today, a lot of this nurture and education and discipline is outsourced. Your children are nurtured and educated in a school somewhere according to the tenets of the government. You know, discipline is exerted by what? The police. You know, a lot of the power and the responsibility which used to be held by the household, beginning with the man, the head of the house, has now been in this society externalized. Okay, it's externalized. All right, it says, that said, it would be erroneous to read our modern notions of family into the household. Ancient Israel was an agrarian society that required extensive cooperation for economic survival. What does that mean? That means that we relied on each other. Let's look up the word agrarian. That goes into husbandry. But let's get up the word agrarian so we can get the understanding. All right. Agrarian, relating to land. All right. From agrarious, of land, field, specialized, meaning having to do with cultivated land. Right. And when you're working land, you need workers, you need people, you need labor. And the more people that work together, the more productive a land can be. You understand? So we were an agrarian society. Let me read that again. All right. Which we're not that kind of way suited today. Right now, we're just employees. We work for the so-called white man and build whatever he says, whatever in the job market he said, look, okay, you could work here, Primark, or, you know, that's what you do. But in ancient Israel, the main thing we did was produce from our land. In fact, the whole tithing system was based upon land production from land. You were tithed based upon what you produced on your land. All right. Ancient Israel was an agrarian society that required extensive cooperation for economic survival. Leo Perdue writes, social cooperation amongst families in clans was necessary for building and maintaining terraces to conserve the soil and reduce water runoff, for sharing a common water source, i.e. a well or stream, for constructing cisterns that retained water for the rainy seasons, for establishing and supporting the boundaries of fields, for harvesting of crops, for judicial settlements, and for a common defense. So we, unlike today, in this society, even within a family, everyone kind of really operates on an individualistic level. The way Israelites today operate is very individualistic. The women, the men, the children, everyone is on their own individual goals. It's very, very selfish. Families aren't really together, and you can complain, you can compare that. If you look at Elam operate as families and clans. Everyone in the family knows what their role is, what their part is, and it all works together for the upliftment of the family. Whereas pretty much you Israelites, especially if you're from the ghetto, everyone's just doing their own thing. You don't know what this cousin's doing. Everyone's doing their own thing. There's no real cooperation and working together to build anything together. In fact, it's actually the opposite. They will work together to destroy each other. All right? Because we've been broken down. We have no structure. We have nothing that holds us together. And black ain't gonna cut it. All right? I wanted to get, let me finish reading this. I'm gonna get some precepts going into the land. All right? So common defense, a network of mutual care was necessary for households to survive crop failures. You understand? So the different families or households that made up the clans relied on each other to help each other for the common good. Love thy neighbor as thyself, because no man is an island. All right, that's why my man Tyrese is crying right now, my baby, and all this shit. And you know, I always millionaire friends is always trying to help me, because Jake don't think about others, man. Jake really in this society is taught Jake to basically be selfish, to think about himself. That's why you got women, all they care about is their career, which is all building up Esau's kingdom. They're not family orientated. They don't really care about their husband. They really don't care about their children. They're very individualistic. It's all about individual goals. That's how we've been broken down to. All right. That's what Candyland did to us. Candyland. If you don't know what I mean by Candyland, go watch. What's it called? Django. You know what I mean by Candyland. The plantation. The plantation broke us down into individuals, when really we're not individuals. We're a body, and that's what this gospel is all about. The gospel of Yahushua is all about getting us to come back together as a body, as one unit, where we're all working together for our mutual benefit, which we'll get some scriptures on that. In fact, we'll get that. In Yahushua, we are one body again. All right, and it actually states that in the scriptures. If I put one body in, all right, black people are not one body. Black people are a bunch of individuals that share the common goal of destroying themselves. Black is not. There's no. It's not about that. All right. All the way through the scriptures, you see, it's talking about being one body. Okay, 1 Corinthians 12:20. But now are they many members, yet but one body. All right, Ephesians 2:16. And that ye might reconcile both unto God in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby. Ephesians 4:4. There is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. All right, so it's part of this is coming back, really coming back together in Yahushua as that tribe, as that clan, as that family unit. And that's why in the camps we start operating like that. You start taking an interest in your brother. You start taking an interest like in his life and his family and his children, and he does the same thing. You take an interest like, how can I help you? How can he help me? You know, you see a job application going. I mean, I'm not uplifting. We're in this kingdom, so we got to get jobs and stuff like that. You see a job application going, and you know that this brother, it will be better for him to. Then you give the brother that application, man. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. You help. You know, you help your brother out. Love thy neighbor as thyself, man. Charity. These are all principles of Yahushua. Okay, because we're not really individuals. We're a body. All right. I wanted to get, I think it's in Galatians, man. Big part of the gospel is us coming back together as one. That's even in Ezekiel, Ezekiel the 37th chapter. All right. We start Galatians 3:26. All right. It says, for ye are all the children of God by faith in Yahushua and Mashiach. So in the faith of Yahushua, Israel is coming back together as a proper family. And in order to be a proper family, you have to live in love. You have to love each other, man. Real love. Right now, the way it is, we ain't a family, man. You can't be a family and you hate each other. It doesn't work like that. All right? It just doesn't work. Galatians 3:27, for as many of you as have been baptized into Yahushua have put on Yahushua. And Yahushua comes with certain principles, man, of how you live with your brother, you live with your sister, how you treat your mother, how you treat your father, how you treat your sister, how you treat your brother, how you treat the stranger. You know, by a stranger, I mean the Israelite that you might not even know. You've never met him before. There's a way you're supposed to treat him. Jake don't live by that. Jake, it's supposed to be that if you go to Jake, come to a town, and he's from out of town, he's supposed to be able to go anywhere Israelites are and feel at home, feel like family. You're supposed to welcome him like family. That's really how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be able to go anywhere among our people and sojourn, and we're not supposed to be treated any differently. We're supposed to be welcomed with open arms and helped and given a place to stay. And at certain points in the ancient world, that's how it was. You might be in the land of Benjamin, and a Gadite might come. He knows full well that, look, man, I'm not going through Elam, and I'm going through Israel. So if I go through the land of Benjamin, I ain't got to worry about having a place to stay. If I go to a town, they gonna welcome me with open arms. Yo, you coming? They gonna fight with each other. Where you gonna stay? No, you staying with me. I want to hear the latest news from the land of Gad. Come. My wife gonna cook up that good goat. You gonna come into the house and smell that goodness. Let's conversate. You know, family. That's what the scriptures speak about the sojourner. All right, because you're a stranger then. All right. These are things that we have to think about, man. Now, right now, look, man, you better make some plans before you go anywhere, especially around Jake. Jake could kill your ass, man, just because he don't know you. Or you ain't from around here. Jake could kill you deader than a doornail, man. Jake could kill you and rob you and leave your ass in a dumpster. Because they don't have the principles of Yahushua, man. The scriptures speak about the good Samaritan. He didn't know that guy that was laying on the side of the road, but he was an Israelite, so he took care of him. That's how we're supposed to be. Unfortunately, right now, we got serious issues, all right? So it says, Galatians 3:28, there is neither Jew nor Greek. All right. Now that's talking, the Jew was talking about the Israelites that were part of the Judean province who had kept the customs of Israel. And the Greek was talking about the Israelites who were the descendants of those who had Hellenized themselves during the Hellenistic period. But they were both Israelites, meaning they were both of the seed of Jacob, but would come back together as one in Yahushua and shed that partition and come back together, right? There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, because you had Israelites that were in different socio-economic conditions back then. You had Israelites that were in straight up bondage in Rome, straight up slaves, but you had Israelites in Rome who were citizens of Rome, so-called freedmen. Just like today, Israel in terms of condition and slavery are in different conditions. But in Yahushua, there is no difference. It says there is neither male nor female, because at the end of the day, the women of Israel are part of Israel too and have an inheritance, because they're connected. It's, you know, it's a connection there. All right. Now, when it says there ain't no difference between male or female, that don't mean that there's no order. Don't get that twisted. But we are still one family, one flesh. So we work together for mutual benefit. A husband and wife are supposed to mutually benefit each other. Okay? There's mutual benefit there. So it's a body, it's a family, man. All right? For ye are all one in Yahushua HaMashiach, and if ye be Yahushua's, then are ye Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. Then are you worthy. Basically, if you want to understand it, then are you worthy of being called Abraham's seed? Because technically, the 2/3 are Abraham's seed too. But because they reject the way of life and reject the faith of Abraham, they are unworthy. You are unfit. You are unworthy. All right? And it ain't a hard concept to understand. What happened with Thor? When you watch, let me see if I can get it. I don't know if they're going to block. They're going to block this. Okay, let me get the scripture here because I like the scripture. Matthew 12:25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Yeah, and that's a beautiful scripture. Thank you, GMS Faith Grace Election. Thank you very much. Tawada. All right, let me see if I can show you. I hope they don't hit me with a dirty ass copyright. When Thor was stripped of his power, yeah. When Thor's father stripped him of his power, he didn't cease to be Odin's son, but Odin was like, look, man, you ain't worthy. So technically he was still the inheritor, but because of his foolish actions, he became unworthy. Let's see if we can I'm gonna have to give me a second. Let me. It's like when there's a famous scene in a Jewish film where this one so-called Jew brought a so-called Gentile woman to meet his father, and his father said, I have no son. Now, did it technically mean that that guy was not his son anymore? Of course it was his son. It just means that he had become unworthy in his eyes of being his son. And that's what the Most High ultimately did to Israel. That's what you read in Hosea 1. You know? Let's see if we can get this clip right here.
Powering on. Powering on. Powering
Now he end this now.
Your boy sort this out.
Right. These are the actions of a boy. Keep them as such. You and I can end this here now, before there's further bloodshed.
We are beyond the promise now, old father. You get what you came for. War and death.
So be it.
So basically, if you watch the film, basically Thor was acting like a brat, and then you're gonna see what happens, man. This was a heavy scene. Odin stripped him of everything, and that's what the Most High did to Israel. He stripped. We acted foolishly. We abused the position that He had blessed us with, of being His sons. So the Lord stripped us, man. It ain't hard. That's why through Yahweh Shai, we get an adoption of sons.
I was protecting my dog.
You cannot need to protect your friends. How can you hope to protect the kingdom? Send the healing room. No!
There won't be a kingdom to protect if you're afraid to act. Jotuns must learn to fear me, just as they once feared you.
That's pride and vanity talking, not leadership. Learn everything I taught you. But a warrior's patience.
While you wait, the 9 realms laugh at us. The old ways are done. You stand giving speeches while Asgard falls.
You are a vain, greedy, cruel boy.
You are an old man and a fool.
Uh-oh.
Was a fool. Think you were ready. Or Odin's son, who have betrayed the express command of your king. For your arrogance and stupidity, you have opened these peaceful realms and innocent lives to the horror and desolation of war. But unworthy of these realms, unworthy of your title, but unworthy.
You're unworthy.
The loved one you have betrayed. Now take from you your power. In the name of my father, his father before, I owe you no father. Whosoever holds this hand, if he be worthy, should possess our soul.
Yeah, so I had to show you that there, right there. Basically, that's what the Lord did, man. Okay, that's a heavy scene, man. You're unworthy. Okay, that's what the Lord said to Israel. In fact, let's get that real quick. All right, that's what the whole thing about being Abraham's seed through Yahweh Shai is all about, man. It's all about becoming worthy again through Yahweh Shai of holding that title and that position, because we lost that, man, because we were unworthy. And man got stripped. He got totally stripped, man. If you watch the film, man, he was walking around like a mortal, messed up. All right, Hosea 1 and 9, it says, then said the Most High, call his name Lo Ami, for ye are not my people. Now, why did the Lord say that? Because you are unworthy. Okay, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God. That's basically what Odin just did to Thor, man. Look, man, you ain't my son. Okay. What the hell is burning? Anyway, you're unworthy. All right. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sands of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. All right. So there was going to come a time when the Lord would accept Israel to be his sons again. They would be made worthy. Through who? Let's get the book of John 1. All right. It ain't that hard. It just is not that hard to understand. Okay. But, you know, we know 2/3 of our people, man. Let's see if I can get, is it John 1 or John? There we go. John 1 and we can start from 11, get to the point. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, Israelites, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. So through Yahweh Shai, the elect of Israel are becoming worthy to once again carry the title of our Lord, to be deemed as sons. Someone tell me what the heathens got to do with that. Right, so that was the point on that. Let me hit the comment board and jump back over. Okay, we good. All right, so let me jump back to this article, man. I know I segued there. That's a whole nother lesson, man. That's a whole nother lesson, man. Understanding, you know, what it's all about. But anyway, so let's read this again. All right, so we've understood that ancient Israel was an agrarian society, and we're going to go back to being an agrarian society. That's the basis. The basis of any people is land. Power over your land, power over your production. Power over your land and power over your production, which Israel at this moment in time does not have any of that. But the so-called white man does. He has power over land and power over production. He has power over resources. All right. Having a job don't mean shit ultimately. Having land and resources and productive capability and power over that production is what it's all about. And that's what we're going to go back to. Social cooperation among families in the clan was necessary for building and maintaining terraces to conserve the soil and reduce water runoff, for sharing a common water source, wells and streams, for constructing cisterns that retained water for the rainy season, for establishing and supporting the boundaries of fields, for harvesting of crops, for judicial settlements, and for common defense. A network of mutual care was necessary for households to survive crop failures and food shortages caused by drought, blight, and disease. This network of care extended beyond individual to tribes and to the sons of Israel, whose marginal poor included Levites, widows, fatherless children, resident aliens, debt servants, slaves, and sojourners. All right. So that's why a lot of times the Lord was angry with Israel, because Israel didn't care about the Levite. Israel didn't care about the widow. Israel didn't care about the fatherless. You understand? And that's in fact, I'm trying to remember where that is. Let me see if I can find it. I think even in Isaiah 5 speaks about that. Or is it Jeremiah 5? Oh, it's Jeremiah 5. Oppression, man, wickedness. Oh, is of Isaiah 5. Yeah. Isaiah 5 and 7. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression. And when you're oppressing your own brother, you obviously don't care about your brother. You obviously don't love your brother. Otherwise, you wouldn't oppress your brother. For righteousness, but behold, a cry. Woe unto them that join house to house, which the word here for join means to buy. Meaning you buying up, your brother falls into a state of poverty, and you buying up his house because you want his house, and you don't give it back to him according to the law. That lay field to field. You buying up all the fields because you want everything for yourself. You don't care about your brother. Till there be no place, there's nowhere for these people to live. So they all got a basically what we're in the situation now. The way Israel was set up is that everyone should have a peace. Not just a few landlording it over everyone else. That's a feudal, oppressive society, like what we live in today. We live in an oppressive feudal society where a 1% owns everything. They own all the land and everything. So you have to pay them for rent and so forth. Among us, it wasn't supposed to be like that. Till there be no place that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. All right. Let me see if I can find a specific scripture on the widow and the fatherless. You know, we have that's in the law. You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. You know, so the law protects that, man. It's all about caring, man. I know that one in Isaiah. See, if you look at these scriptures here, these were the part of the wickedness and the iniquity that Israel was doing amongst each other. Nigger shit. And then the Lord kept telling them, look, man, if you don't do that, then I'm going to be cool. Jeremiah 7 and 6, if ye oppress not the stranger, which is talking about Israelites that are coming from other parts of Israel, the fatherless, the widow, and shed not innocent blood in this place, neither walk after other gods to your hurt. And that's idolatry. Okay, another one. Thus saith the Lord, execute ye judgment and righteousness, and deliver the spoiled out of the hand of the oppressor, and do no wrong, do no violence to the stranger, to the fatherless, to the widow, neither shed innocent blood in this place. All right, we're supposed to be caring and loving towards each other. In fact, let me get that, man. You're supposed to love thy neighbor as thyself. Yeah, this one. Matthew 22 and 37. Yahushua said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. This is a key principle of this gospel, man. You love your neighbor as yourself. And in this society, in this world, it really teaches you to be very individualistic and to not care about nobody else, especially your brother. As long as everything's great. Look, man, let me get Nehemiah, man. Scripture just popped into my head. Oh, I gotta get ready for camp. This is the Nehemiah. Is it Nehemiah? No, it might be the second chapter. I'm sure it's Nehemiah. You have to excuse me, man. Sometimes my brain isn't operating. Yeah, Nehemiah, the second chapter. We're going to read about Nehemiah, man. All right, Nehemiah 2:1. And it came to pass in the month Nisan in the 20th year of Artaxerxes the king, that wine was before him, and I took up the wine and gave it unto the king. Now I had not been before time sad in his presence. Now you gotta understand, a cupbearer to the king is living good. All right, a cupbearer to the king is not wearing rags. No king is gonna have a cupbearer that's wearing rags and stinking. And look, a cupbearer is a high position as a servant in the house of a king. All right, understand that. So the condition that Nehemiah was in, he wasn't really what you would call a field Negro. A lot of people talk about the house slave. Look, man, just because you're a house slave don't mean shit. Field Negro and house slave. Look, man, you got field Negroes that ain't shit. You got house niggas that ain't shit. Right? Nehemiah, if you want to put it into context, was a house slave. Just like Daniel. Daniel was a president in Babylon. They had positions, man. But that didn't mean that they were sellouts. Nehemiah wasn't a sellout, even though he had a higher position that was given to him as a slave. All right? We got to understand that, man. You know what I mean? To hell with fucking Malcolm X, man. He ain't a prophet. All right? Now I had not been before time sad in his presence. Wherefore the king said unto me, why is thy countenance sad, seeing thou art not sick? This is nothing else but sorrow of the heart. Then I was very sore afraid, and said unto the king, let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be sad, when the city, the place of my father's sepulchres, lieth waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire? So even though he had a position where he could have been cool, he was still grieved at the condition of his city and the condition of his people, man. Because he wasn't selfish. Like a lot of these niggas, these celebrity niggas, man, they don't give a fuck about Jake living in the ghettos, and they don't give a damn about all that, man. All they care about is they got a record deal and they could drive a Ferrari. As soon as they do that, they don't give a damn about nobody else, because they're very individualistic the way they feel. Then when their ass is falling from grace, so to speak, they want everyone else to help them, when you ain't trying to do shit for nobody. All right, Tyrese. So I just wanted to bring that up. So it says here, this network of care extended beyond individuals to tribes and to the sons of Israel. Okay. Now, it mentioned about being an agrarian society. I wanted to get the law. Leviticus 20:24 said, but I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, talking about the Canaanites, and I will give it unto you, the people. I will give it unto you to possess it.
Powering off.
A land that floweth with milk and honey, meaning a very fruitful land, a good arable land with resources. I am the Lord. Sign's burning. I am the Lord. I am the Lord your God, which have separated you from other people. So the Lord separated us from other people, and he gave us a land. And then he divided that land among all Israel. All right. Psalms 105:10, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law. Let's read this, because a lot of people are ignorant. Psalms 105:6. O ye seed of Abraham his servant, ye children of Jacob his chosen. So who is the seed of Abraham? Like we brought out earlier, the children of Jacob. Who is the worthy to be the seed of Abraham? The followers of Yahushua. He is the Lord our God. His judgments are in all the earth. He hath remembered his covenant forever. Forever. Forever, ever. the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations. And now a guy's going to count out 1,000. No, it means forever, man. It means without end. It's poetic, okay? You're going to get an Edomite trying to count it out. Okay, 1, 2, till 1,000. Yep, this, no. It's poetic, my man. Okay, jeez. Which covenant he made with Abraham and his oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant, saying, unto thee will I give the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance, when they were but a few men in number, yea, very few, and strangers in it. When they went from one nation to another, from one kingdom to another, he suffered no man to do them wrong, yea, he reproved kings for their sakes. And the Lord's going to do the same thing again. But what I'm trying to show you there is that the Lord established us as an agrarian people, a people with our own land. All right, let's get Deuteronomy 32. And you can read in the book of Joshua how Joshua made sure that all Israel received inheritance, man. All Israel received inheritance. Deuteronomy 32:8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the sons of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. All right. So we were an agrarian people with our own land and our own power over our own production. All right, and that's like I said to you, the tithing system wasn't based upon employment. When you read the tithing system wasn't based upon employment. Now today, we rehearse tithing by paying out of our wages and so forth. But ultimately speaking, strictly speaking, according to the law, tithes wasn't paid based upon wages. Tithes was paid based upon land ownership and production from land, if you read the law, because we were an agrarian society, man. Okay, so if a guy fell into a bad position where he didn't have land for whatever reason, and he had to put himself into slavery and work on another guy's land, he really didn't pay tithes because he didn't actually have any land that he was working. He was getting wages. He was poor until such a time as he was reestablished. He got his land back. He started producing. Then he would pay off the increase of his kind and the increase of his crops, because now he's in a position. But today, you know, we rehearse the righteous acts, man, because all we can do, we're in slavery, is work. We gotta work. We're human resources, man. We gotta work for Esau on his land, or to produce for him or provide some kind of service to get compensated with money, wages. It's just bullshit. Really. Okay. Let's jump back over here. It says, in an agrarian society, land was essential to survival. Okay. Furthermore, the promise that God gave to Abraham and his descendants was inextricably tied up with each Israelite family having a share in the land as God's stewards. You understand? This is how important land ownership is to Israel, which is something that we do not have at this moment in time, which we are going to get back pursuing to Ezekiel, the 37, Ezekiel, the 36. I mean, so many scriptures talking about the Lord giving Israel back the land, you know, taking us back into the land, because it's pivotal, man, to a people to have their own land. It's so paramount. It's like, if you don't have your own land, then what do you have? The only thing you can do is work on someone else's land. The landlord, which means they're always going to be over you. You understand? Ezekiel 37. Yeah, Ezekiel 37:21, it says, and say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen. So among the heathen, you got no inheritances in their land. But man, they got no allodial title, man. Let's say you even try and buy yourself a piece of land somewhere. The government owns that land. Who owns the government? The so-called white man. That's why you're going to pay land tax. No matter what you do, you don't own the land. You don't own the production. You produce anything on that land, you're going to get taxed by the so-called white man. You got to produce on that land according to his laws and regulations. You know what I'm saying? What are you? You're just a slave. Now in the kingdom of heaven, we get our land back. Ain't nobody gonna tell you how much corn you can grow and how you can grow it and why you can grow it and blah 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 blah. You only just gonna pay your tithes, man, and that's it. That was the only thing that the Lord said you got to do, man. Go pay your tithes and spare a portion of your field for the poor. You know, and you know, so but Esau's got 1,000,001 regulations, you know, and taxes and fees and, you know, just to grind your ass into the ground, man. Yeah, that's part of captivity, okay? Subject unto payments, subject unto another man's authority, okay? Because you're in his land. You're really on his land. You're nothing but a human resource, a battery, okay? Hands, just a pair of hands, all right? So I will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land, and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore. And you can also read about Ezekiel 36. Ezekiel 36 is based around the land of Israel, okay? It's important. It's important, and a lot of our people don't consider how important it is to have your own land, all right? And to have power over that land and its production, okay? So jump back over here. It's a very good article. It says I might have to do a part 2 to this because I gotta get ready. Gotta get ready to go camp. Just hit the comment board up real quick. Oh, I'm missing out on some comments here. All right, GMS Hawaii Yahawada. Hey, Shalom, Baba Yabba Shemishai. Bakatah, man. Shalom. Feudalism was a combination of legal and military customs in medieval Europe that flourished between the 9th and 15th century. Broadly defined, it was a way of structuring society. Yeah, feudalism, you had landlords, and the landlords would rent the land out to their occupants, and in turn, they would also require that those inhabitants would answer the call of war. Okay, you can go into that, you know. It says the relationship derived from holding of land in exchange for service or labor. Yeah? We were enslaving each other in the Middle Ages to take land. Yeah, that's true. Jake was doing that, man. Jake was doing that. All right, it ain't nothing new. Hey, Roger Abraham, shalom, shalom, my brother. Shalom, GMS Hope and Pray. Isaiah 45:17, everlasting salvation, world without end. Hey, shalom, brother. I see you at camp. hey, Makwalat, shalom, brother. Shalom. Makwalat in the house. All right, let's jump back over to this article because I might be able to finish it. Right, so furthermore, the promise that God gave to Abraham and his descendants was inextricably tied with each Israelite family or household having a share in the land as God's stewards. 2 or 3 consecutive years of drought, crop failures, or other calamities could easily force someone to forfeit their land in exchange for goods to survive. So you go on hard times, you got to sell the only asset that you have to survive and put your ass into slavery to another Israelite. Thus, we find considerable attention given to the protection of land ownership, most notably in Leviticus 25. So if you did fall into hard times, there would be a way for you in the process of that generation to get yourself out of that by loaning yourself out to your brother who is in a better condition. And through the year of release and the year of Jubilee and these things, eventually you would get your land back and you'll be back on your feet. It's a system to help. It actually helps you take the land off your hands. So now someone who's in a better possession to produce on your land is now going to produce. So your land's not going to be dormant. A richer guy than you will come in. He'll produce on your land. You'll work for him. And then at the end, he'll take his profit and he give you some of the profit. And now you start doing it on your own. It's all about, look, man. It's in your best interest for your brother to be strong as you are strong. It's not in your best interest for your brother to be weak. It's like boxing or fighting. It's in your best interest for your brother to be strong, because so you could fight together against the enemy, rather than you just want to stunt. You want to be strong and you want your brother to be weak so you can get glory. But when the enemy comes, your brother can't help you. A lot of Jake, like I said, Jake isn't all in the individualistic mindset. Jake just want to stunt on other Jakes. No, it's better if we're all stunting. That's strength, okay? A household estate would include fields, orchards, vineyards, pastures, livestock, and the tools and implements for living and working. Ancient Israel was a patrilocal society. Adult sons lived with their father. When they married, usually within the clan, the bride came to live in the husband's father's house. A separate structure was often added to accommodate the new couple, attached to their either existing structures or adjoining a common courtyard. A group of households might typically be located together to form villages. Purdue suggests that most villages in Israel's history consisted of no more than 100 people. But the thing about that village is they were so interconnected, it was family. And it was a beautiful thing, because you don't have to worry about your children in the streets, because we have that care for each other. You understand? That love. Not like now, you're living amongst people that are straight up strangers. You might not even know who your next door neighbor is, or, you know, your next door neighbor could be a straight up demon. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you live in some city like New York, some apartment building. Ugh, disgusting. By the time the monarchy, some urbanization had begun, but this small rural village framework was present down to the time of Christ. So in a way, family can be viewed as concentric circles with the household at the center, the clan further out, and the tribe existing out beyond the clan. But there is another dimension as well. And listen to this, brothers. Listen to this. This is very important. The Israelites had a strong sense of connectedness with their ancestors. Now, why do you think that is? Because we are our ancestors, and you're going to get the understanding, which, Lord will, I might do a separate video on just this part. I just want to bring it out, then I'm going to run because I got to get ready to go camp. But it says, the Israelites also had a strong sense of connectedness with their ancestors and with yet to be born descendants. So what does that mean? You weren't selfish. Not only were you not selfish in accordance to your brother that you can see around you, you were mindful to how your actions affected the honor of your ancestors and how it would affect the future generation. Understand that. You lived with being connected with not only your brothers and sisters that were here, but also the past and the future, because the past, the present, and the future are connected. You understand? And that's a mind state that we have lost. I grew up on the islands, and I remember when I was growing up, there was a certain saying that Benjamin would have among themselves, which you would hardly ever hear anyone say on the islands or here today, and that was the children of the future. The children, when you're investing in the children, you're ultimately investing in yourself because of reincarnation. And that's something that our people don't understand. That's why these Israelite women, they don't treat their children right, and these Israelite men don't treat their children right. because really they have no notion of it is very important to raise good, strong, productive children, because you're going to reap what you sow. A lot of you are wondering why you were born in a crack whore house. It's connected with what happened before that. What you leave behind is what you're going to be born back into, to the most part. So if you running around as a woman and you're fermenting a broken household, which is producing broken children, you're going to be reincarnated into a broken household. Same thing as an Israelite man. You running around being the playboy and you're not really being responsible with your seed or with your seeds. Those seeds that you produce that are all broken and destroyed, you're going to come back underneath them. And you're going to reap what you sowed. So you have a vested interest as a people, as a family. We have an interest in our children. We have an interest in our brother around us. We have an interest in our forefathers. We are connected. We are not disconnected. All right. So I thought that was very interesting. And what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do a whole video, because this goes into reincarnation, the flesh of my flesh, all that. It all opens up all of that and how we should be together and how we should be connected. All right. Because, you know, there's more anyway, but it says these folks were understood to be part of the household, clan, and tribe as well. So your duty of care didn't just extend to the living Israelites, it extended to the Israelites that were before you and the Israelites that were to come. That was also part of the network of care. As time went by, the ideas of clan and particularly tribe became somewhat fictive relationships without always having a strict biological connection involved. So, yeah, okay, that's the point on that. So, Lord will, you see this last paragraph here, or, well, yeah, paragraph. I'm going to do a separate video on that because this is heavy. This is heavy, man. This is heavy. So why Yahweh Shai said, suffer not the little children to come unto me. All right. Children are important. All right. Anyway, with that, you know, I'm gonna say shalom. And I hope brothers were edified, and this lesson gave you some things to meditate on, you know. So with that, you know, I'm gonna just say shalom.